People don't know the things that I know because people don't know the things that I know, Mom. Oh, are you serious?
She really doesn't have a reason to lie to us. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know what you mean. I kind of know my daughter, and she doesn't have a reason to lie about a lot of
The truth that lay hidden from many became a point of intense scrutiny when a 12-year-old girl decided to reveal her father's secrets. Her disclosure, previously kept under wraps, shook the very foundations of those around her, leaving no aspect of the situation unchanged. As the case unfolded, it took on a dramatic intensity comparable to some of the most notorious trials of the decade. Amidst the turmoil, a series of unexpected developments left everyone reeling, transforming the once unimaginable into undeniable reality. On May 21, 2020, 40-year-old Zachariah Anderson was taken into custody under grim circumstances. Detectives faced significant challenges uncovering the truth as conflicting accounts from those close to Anderson obscured the facts. A closer examination of his actions and the contradictory statements from his ex-girlfriend and daughter highlighted the inconsistencies in their accounts. Following a 12-year relationship and raising 3 children in Macon, Wisconsin, Zachariah and Sadie ended their relationship in 2019. Tensions had escalated, leading Sadie to seek a restraining order, although it was ultimately denied. Their separation was marked by a clear finality when Sadie expressed her desire to end the relationship. In February 2020, Sadie began dating Rosalio Gutierrez Jr., whom she met through a dating site. Their relationship seemed promising until an unsettling event on May 19, 2020. Concerned by Rosalio's sudden silence, Sadie visited his home, only to find a scene of chaos and blood. Her distress was palpable as she relayed the disturbing sight to 911, describing the blood-stained apartment and her fear of what had transpired.
Can I option 911 with the address for emergency?
Let's see, the address is, oh gosh, sorry, I should know this. It's 3715.
And what street?
What was that?
What's the rest of the address? 3715 what?
15th Street. I'm not familiar with this area very well.
Is it Wood Creek?
15th Avenue, is it 15th?
15th Street is Wood Creek. What apartment?
1B. So I was doing a wellness check on a good friend of mine that I was dating, and I found it weird because I haven't talked to him for like 24 hours. And I just went to his house, and his screen door is wide open.
Okay.
And I knocked on the door, and I saw something like scattered on the outside of the outside door. And then I just, I kept calling his name and knocking on the windows and knocking on the doors, and the screen door is like wide open. And I just pulled the
were you able to see inside?
Yeah, I pulled the blinds back, and there's blood all over the floor in the living room. And
I didn't see him at all anywhere?
I didn't go any further.
Authorities quickly responded to the alarming situation, discovering signs of a violent struggle and concluding that Rosalio was likely deceased.
Okay, and are you sure about 3715? I'm not showing that as one of the building numbers.
oh my God. I'm sorry. 3709. I'm sorry.
3709 15th Street, Apartment 1B. What's the phone number that you're calling from? What's his name?
Rosalio Gutierrez.
Okay, do you know how old he is?
40.
Okay. And you can't see him at all, though?
I didn't go any further, no.
Okay.
I'm afraid. I just saw blood on the floor, and that's not normal. Something's not right. He's got
That's
kids.
it. We're gonna get officers over there. There's nobody else there that you could see?
No, he hasn't been answering the phone. Both of his vehicles are here. And like I said, his phone's been going straight to voicemail since maybe 11 o'clock last night.
Do you know what his phone number is? And when did you say the last time was that you spoke with him?
8:30 on Sunday night.
8:30 p.m. on Sunday night?
He texted me, that was the last time we texted.
And he seemed fine? Everything seemed okay?
Everything seemed okay. He said he was going to go by a friend's house.
Okay.
And I said, well, call me when you're on your way home or whatever. And he said, okay. And that was the last I heard from him. But it was odd that he didn't text me in the morning because he usually texts me good morning.
Mm-hmm.
And then I texted him and I didn't hear anything. And then I texted him that afternoon and didn't hear anything. And then I called and it went straight to voicemail. And I thought that's weird. it seems just strange.
Yeah. Okay, well, we do have an officer on the way, so he's going to be there shortly. If you find out anything else, give us a call back, okay?
Sadie's suspicions pointed toward Zachariah Anderson, who was subsequently investigated. The search of his property revealed burn pits with remnants of clothing and cleaning supplies, and surveillance footage showed him purchasing items associated with the cleanup of a crime scene. As the investigation progressed, crucial evidence emerged, including Gutierrez's DNA found inside Anderson's van. The mounting evidence placed Anderson under severe scrutiny, questioning whether he would admit to his actions or attempt to manipulate the case. Zachariah's manipulation of the situation was further revealed through his statements and the evidence uncovered. The unraveling of the case against him highlighted a tragic and shocking sequence of events that ultimately led to his conviction.
What I can tell you is, to my understanding, she, like around Christmas time, so we have twin boys that were born on Christmas Eve, and it was supposed to be my day with the kids, my Christmas with the kids. And
This previous one?
Yeah. And I went over there and our daughter wasn't there. And I said, all right, like we went and picked up a Christmas tree and we went to have, set up the Christmas tree at her house because she has primary placement of the kids, And so put it all together and that kind of stuff. I came over in the morning, all the kids were supposed to be there, daughter's not there. And I'm like, maybe about 11:30, like asking her, are you gonna go get, this is supposed to be my Christmas. Like the boys want to open their presents. It's, almost the afternoon holiday or whatever. And she gets all shitty with me, shut your mouth and stuff. And I'm like, what the, like supposed to have the day with the kids. This is our Christmas, right? Like you get the kids tomorrow for Christmas Day itself, but we on the day for or whatever. And she tries to hit me with the broom in the face, just spins around, tries to cloud me with the broom in the face, and turns into this big old exchange between her and I. She shoves me into the door like 4 times, and I scream and runs outside, calls the cops. Cops show up, they arrest me, and I'm like, what are you arresting me for? She put her hands on me. I mean, I made fun of her or whatever, but talks shit, hollered back and forth, but I didn't do anything to her. So they hauled me away, like, all right.
What agency was that?
Germantown.
Okay.
So go see the DA, tell the DA, hey, this is what happened, whatever. It's the first or second occurrence. Long story short, happens again. She does the same thing. Cops show up, and I tell the cops, I put my hands on her. They arrest me again and haul me away. And I'm just like, it's ridiculous, just because she said whatever she said. She said I'd push her at one point at the front door. I'm like, no, she turned around, ran into her own Christmas decorations, and tripped her damn self and spilled her shit. I didn't touch her. I didn't step forward. I didn't do shit. I just stood there and watched her make a mess of herself. And that's been kind of the thing. It's like, no matter what happens, no matter what goes on, she accuses me.
Zachariah Anderson is resolute in rejecting the accusations made by his ex-girlfriend, Sadie. He claims her allegations are unfounded, but detectives find it challenging to believe his version of events. According to Sadie, the trouble began around Christmas 2019. During this time, an argument erupted between them. Zachariah was angry because their daughter was absent, and this confrontation escalated when Zachariah started throwing things out of Sadie's house. This led Sadie to call the police, marking the incident as a violent episode in their tumultuous relationship.
Our twin boy's birthday is Christmas Eve. Mm-hmm. That day, he came over to the house and there was an argument. He was upset our daughter wasn't there for Christmas. He began throwing things out of my house, and I did call the cops to have them come and ask him to leave. So that was kind of a violent episode. That was not the first time.
And was this before you met Rosario, or
This is before.
It's Christmas before?
This was, so 2019.
Okay.
So Christmas 2019. So that's December. So I didn't meet Rosario until February.
Okay.
But December was when Zach and I had that blowout, and we hadn't talked at all. Like, I kept my distance from him. I tried to file a restraining order. Washington County wouldn't order it. I had 7 pages worth of history of why I needed this restraining order as a grade. And they let it go. He kind of gloated in that. And then he came and talked to me and said, hey, I gotta go take care of some stuff out west, and I'm gonna be leaving. And I said, fine. I said, but I just want you to know, like, I'm done, with the relationship. Like, I don't.
So that was the official split in the relationship?
Yeah, I basically said, I don't want to do this. I don't want.
That's when you ended it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah,
before I went to Mexico, yeah.
Okay.
And I kind of was like, if this is where our worlds are at, like, I don't want to live like this. So I was kind of done. That's why I went for the restraining order.
Sadie describes this as one of several troubling incidents that led to their separation. Despite her efforts to file a restraining order, which she backed with 7 pages of documentation detailing her fears, the request was denied by Washington County. Zachariah seemed to take advantage of this decision, gloating about it and ultimately leading to a formal end of their relationship. Sadie recalls making it clear that she was done with the relationship, a sentiment she expressed in December 2019 before meeting her new partner, Rosalio Gutierrez Jr., in February 2020. Zachariah, however, denies any involvement in illegal activities like hacking Sadie's phone or stalking her. He dismisses these accusations as absurd and attributes them to Sadie's alleged paranoia and possible substance abuse. Zachariah insists that his extensive experience working with phones does not translate into hacking skills and refutes any claims of intentional surveillance. He argues that the accusations stem from Sadie's confusion and ongoing personal issues.
If you guys get my cell phone, I'll show you how ludicrous it is. She accused me of hacking her phone, her text messages, and her emails. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And she's like, you know things that people shouldn't, which just my lingering suspicion is that she's doing blow. I don't know for sure. I haven't been able to verify that, but just on her behavior and, you know, I mean, I've known her for 12 years and it's a hardship. So huge difference. So anyway, she makes a bunch of accusations and she says, well, you know how to program or something, you know how to hack my phone. Because I don't even know any programming languages. I just worked for the phone company for a decade. That doesn't mean I know how to hack people's phones. Like, you don't understand what I did there maybe, but it had nothing to do with that, you know? Like, it's just crazy. But she's like, well, you know people. I'm like, nobody I'm gonna ask to jeopardize their job over this shit. Like, what are you talking about? So she's just got some acute paranoias over that I can't make sense of, you know? And so I don't know what to do with that. But as far as stalking is concerned, no, we both see other people. I specifically, when I was arrested tonight, you know, had a girl over and I was spending time with a different girl. So I think maybe she is a little mixed up in, you know, what she thinks or feels about me, and that's fine. But really, at the end of the day, whoever's getting her high is more important. So I don't think, I don't think it's like that at all. Most of the accusations came like in the last month, really. But she said that I was sitting out following her. I went to scoop the boys out of I was cleaning my van. I had my cell phone in my pocket and I was listening to music. And she pulled in with the kids. And I went to pull the boys out of their car seats or whatever and give them a hug. And there were, the boys' sweatshirts were down in the middle of the seats or whatever. And I leaned in there and either I picked him up, my son, you know, when I picked him up, he likes to turn the light on by shaking the phone, took it out of my pocket, or when I leaned forward, I dropped the phone in her car or something like that. But I picked up the sweatshirts and I took the sweatshirts and I couldn't find the phone. And my daughter will tell you, I searched for the phone for like 3 days. I had to call the carrier to figure out what happened to the phone. And she said, well, you were stalking me, you were tracking me, you put the phone in there on purpose. And I said, no, fuck, I didn't. No, fuck, I didn't. It fell out of my pocket. It felt like the shirt that I was wearing, the pocket's not that deep. It fell out before. It must have fallen out when I leaned in to get the kid's sweatshirt, or maybe, I don't know, I didn't see, because I was trying to reach the sweatshirts in the first place. So no, the fuck I didn't. I called the carrier, don't make the accusation. But inevitably the way she sees it is I'm stalking her. And I said, you know, honestly, I know you're going out with other dudes. You brag about, you didn't brag about one guy, you bragged about 4, you know, like, go, what the.
Contrasting Zachariah's statements, Sadie and her daughter provide a troubling account of experiences. She reports finding tracking devices on her vehicle and receiving unsettling indications that she was being watched. In one instance, she discovered Zachariah's cell phone in her car, which she perceived as an attempt to track her movements. Despite her efforts to investigate, including having a mechanic friend check for hidden trackers, she remained alarmed by the possibility of surveillance. Further complicating the matter, Sadie describes an incident where she found 2 tracking devices sent to her home. which made her suspect that Zachariah might have placed them on her car or Rosalio's. This heightened her concern about being followed and monitored. She even describes how she found a burner phone in her car, suggesting that Zachariah might have used it to track her, adding to her fears of being stalked.
He wanted to see the kids, and it was a Friday, maybe. And I said, all right, I'm like, well, when are you coming to get the kids? And he's like, I don't know, I'm doing this, this, and this. I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, how about I drop the kids off by you? And he's like, okay. So I dropped off the kids. It was like 7:30 at night.
When was this?
This would have been about a week or so ago. Because every week I try, or like every week he wants to see the kids at least for a day or something like that. So I've been letting him just kind of play with this because he won't give me a schedule. And I was going to go take a pond lily because I'm moving. So I was going to take the pond lily over to my brother's house. So I packed it all up in the truck and whatever with the kids and went over and I'm like, I'm going to drop off the pond lily. And in the Amazon account, he had 2 tracking devices sent to his home. I know there's so much, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place, but I'm just trying to tell you what I got here. Because then I started freaking out that he had put a tracking device on my car or maybe on Rosalio's car or something. So then when I found this too, I told Rosalio, I'm like, I found these 2 trackers. I'm like, I don't know. He's like, if he's tracking me, let him. You know, like he was very kind of passive about it. Like, you know, I don't know what to do about this dude, but Tuesday, April 21st was estimated delivery date. Tuesday, April 21st by 8 p.m. So he would have had it before the 24th of April, right? The birthday.
There's a long, didn't know about a relationship.
Oh no, he knew about it.
You thoroughly looked through your vehicle for this tracking device?
I looked, like, I had my mechanic friend come over and he looked like under the car and he went under the truck and went in the engine and we looked under batteries.
It looks pretty small, that's right.
I know. And he even said, he's like, they even come smaller. He's like, we got them on our trucks and, you know, he's like, they're hard to detect if you don't know.
You can stick them in the air filter and hide them.
There could be in my house. I don't know. It's a GPS one, but I think it has like the ability to listen. So last night I texted him something about like, are you hacking my phone? Like, what is going on? I'm like, someone said you're in my phone calls. I'm like, you need to stop this. Please stop following me. Just please stop all of this. This is too much. And then we had a little bit of a conversation and, you know, he doesn't want to really talk about that. You always accuse me of stalking you and this. And I'm like, weird things are happening. This is what's going on, you know?
Do you know what Zach's account is on Amazon? Do you know his login and stuff?
No, it was just on it was the app that was on the burner phone. And so I'm just like, I just had feeling like he's tracking me. There's way too many coincidences that he knows where I'm going or when I'm going or where, if I'm leaving or that I don't come home at night. And then, I have people that drive by and tell me that you're not at home.
Have you checked your car?
I did. I had a mechanic friend look it over and check it over. I just didn't take it into like a place.
Right.
But the fact that I found this burner phone in my car, I'm like, well, if you had a tracking device on me,
Oh, so you
why
just
would
found
you
the
put a burner
random
phone
car was
in there?
under the seat or something?
Yeah, you put it under the
So you can just
car
track in the
seat.
burner phone?
He used the burner phone to track, yeah, the 3rd burner phone that he had, because I had already had the 2nd burner phone that he had given to my daughter.
Gotcha.
I know, it's confusing, it's a mess.
Is he tracking the phone?
I don't know that. He's hacked into my school account. He's hacked into my school stuff. He's hacked into your phone for sure, I know that.
My phone or email?
All of it.
So,
How do you know he got in my phone?
what's your phone?
I looked
Is it
for
open?
spyware and stuff like that,
But remember I told you to change all of your passwords.
and I did.
The situation is exacerbated by Zachariah's attempts to debunk Sadie's claims, citing inconsistencies in her stories, such as the location of the cell phone and her timing. He argues that the details she provides do not align with the evidence he has, such as the phone's tracking data showing it ended up in Kenosha, This counterclaims create further confusion and highlight the complex nature of the allegations. The conflicting narratives from Zachariah and Sadie have left the authorities grappling with a tangled web of accusations and counterclaims. Detectives face the challenge of navigating through these conflicting stories to uncover the truth and determine who might be manipulating the situation, or if one party is indeed a victim of deception. The case remains a complex puzzle, with each side presenting their own version of events and casting doubt on the other's credibility. Zachariah Anderson's behavior has raised concerns among detectives, particularly in light of recent accusations from his ex-girlfriend, Sadie. Zachariah argues that Sadie's behavior has changed significantly over the past 6 months, prompting him to seek custody of their children. He insists that he is not involved in hacking Sadie's phone, stalking her, or engaging in any other illegal activities. Instead, he claims that his primary concern is to gather evidence of Sadie's alleged inappropriate behavior in order to support his custody claim. According to Zachariah, his desire to prove Sadie's unfitness as a parent is driven by his observations of her behavior. He recounts instances where he noticed changes in her actions and claimed that she was frequently under the influence of substances. Zachariah mentions that he was advised by a counselor to document Sadie's behavior, which he believes has become increasingly erratic and concerning. He describes a shift from a previously attentive and caring mother to someone who allegedly engages in violent outbursts and neglectful behavior. Zachariah further asserts that he has documented these incidents, including alleged physical abuse and neglect, by using old phones to record Sadie's behavior. He claims that Sadie has been physically aggressive towards their children and has exhibited other concerning behaviors, such as taking blankets away from them during the night. Despite his accusations, Zachariah denies any wrongdoing on his part, asserting that any evidence of surveillance or tracking was intended to document Sadie's alleged abuse. Sadie's daughter corroborates some of Zachariah's claims, supporting the narrative that Sadie has exhibited violent behavior. The daughter describes an incident where Sadie slapped her, which was recorded on a school laptop. She also mentions being punished by Sadie, including being hit and having her blanket taken away. The daughter's account aligns with Zachariah's claims of physical aggression, adding credibility to his accusations. However, the situation becomes more complex when Zachariah's own actions are scrutinized. Detectives confront him with evidence that suggests he may have been tracking Sadie. Zachariah dismisses these claims, labeling them as false and asserting that any tracking devices found were not his doing. He explains that his behavior, including following Sadie and recording her actions, was intended to gather evidence for his custody case. Zachariah's responses during interrogation reveal inconsistencies and evasions. When questioned about his whereabouts and activities, he struggles to provide a coherent timeline and seems defensive when asked about his electronic devices and records. He admits to having a journal where he documents his observations about Sadie and their children, but he is reluctant to provide details or access to this journal. The detectives notice that Zachariah's demeanor remains largely unfazed despite the gravity of the accusations against him. His attempts to deflect and his dismissive attitude towards the evidence of tracking raise suspicions. The investigators are left to piece together a complex narrative involving Zachariah's claims, Sadie's allegations, and the corroborative statements from their daughter. As the investigation progresses, the detectives face the challenge of disentangling the conflicting accounts and determining the truth behind the accusations. Zachariah's behavior, combined with the evidence and testimonies, paints a complicated picture of a custody dispute fraught with allegations of abuse, surveillance, and manipulation. Zachariah was arrested for stalking his ex-girlfriend and was later charged with homicide and hiding a corpse. Despite pleading not guilty, he faced a preliminary hearing within 48 hours. The court couldn't specify the exact time of the hearing, but mentioned it could be the next day or the following Tuesday. The district attorney's office was set to review the case the next morning. Zachariah had requested an attorney and the procedure was laid out for him. He was incredulous about the stalking charge, questioning its validity, but was informed this was the official charge and would be addressed accordingly. In February 2023, Zachariah's trial began under Judge Bruce Schroeder. Testimonies indicated that Zachariah was a key suspect in Rosalio's case. Evidence including DNA found on genes linked to Zachariah, though comparisons with other profiles showed exclusions except for his. As the trial progressed, it was revealed that evidence like luminol tests, which detect blood, was used cautiously to avoid contamination. One piece of evidence was a small stain on a vehicle, which was collected for DNA testing. A witness testified about overhearing Zachariah during a nightmare, where he shouted violent phrases. When confronted about the nightmare, Zachariah admitted guilt and expressed regret over his actions. His daughter also testified against him, revealing that Zachariah had instructed her to spy on her mother, including recording her and observing her from outside. In March 2023, the jury found Zachariah guilty of all charges, including stalking, homicide, and hiding a corpse. He was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 40 years. Before sentencing, Zachariah maintained his innocence, despite the overwhelming evidence against him. He struggled to understand how his actions had led to such a severe outcome, but he remained adamant that he did not commit the crimes. The case left many pondering how moments of intense jealousy and rage can lead to such irreversible actions and profoundly impact many lives. As we conclude today's exploration of Zachariah Anderson's case, it serves as a chilling reminder of how deeply hidden secrets and unresolved emotions can unravel into tragedy. The story of a 12-year-old girl revealing the horrifying truth about her father not only exposed a web of violence, jealousy, and manipulation, but also highlighted the devastating consequences that such behavior can have on families, victims, and communities. The harrowing events that unfolded, beginning with Zachariah's tumultuous relationship with Sadie and the subsequent disappearance of Rosalio Gutierrez Jr., revealed a disturbing pattern of control, obsession, and evasion of responsibility. What started as a custody dispute, exacerbated by jealousy over Sadie's new relationship, spiraled into a nightmare that ended in murder and left a family shattered. Zachariah's actions, whether driven by jealousy, possessiveness, or desperation, led to irreversible consequences, most notably the tragic loss of Rosalio's life. The case drew national attention due to its complexity, involving surveillance, stalking, tracking devices, and ultimately homicide. Each step of the investigation uncovered deeper layers of deceit, revealing Zachariah's obsessive behavior. His ex-girlfriend's and daughter's testimonies painted a picture of a man determined to control the lives of those around him, even as the evidence mounted against him. Zachariah's attempts to manipulate the situation by casting doubt on Sadie's credibility and presenting himself as the victim only further highlighted his willingness to distort the truth. The overwhelming evidence against Zachariah, from DNA found at the crime scene to the burn pits on his property, left little room for doubt regarding his guilt. The trial exposed not only the grim details of Rosalio's death, but also the extent of Zachariah's manipulation and control over his family, even enlisting his daughter to spy on her mother. These actions demonstrated the lengths to which he would go to maintain power over the people in his life. Despite Zachariah's protestations of innocence, the verdict was clear. His conviction for stalking, homicide, and hiding a corpse delivered a measure of justice to Rosalio's family, but it could never undo the damage caused. The trial and its outcome offered a stark lesson about the dangers of unchecked jealousy, rage, and control. The haunting words of Zachariah's daughter, the troubling accounts from Sadie, and the gruesome details of Rosalio's murder all combined to leave an indelible impression. Unchecked anger and obsessive control can lead to catastrophic consequences. In the end, Zachariah's fate was sealed not by the lies he told, but by the irrefutable evidence of his crimes. The ripple effects of his actions will be felt for years to come by his children, Sadie, and the loved ones of Rosalio Gutierrez Jr., whose life was tragically cut short. This case reminds us that justice, though often delayed, does prevail. but it also teaches that the emotional wounds left behind may never fully heal for those who survive the horror.